Hello everyone, bonsoir. Thanks everybody. So first I want to apologize, it's been a nightmare to manage our roles. To be honest, we're very, very happy. Actually we started CryptoMondays Paris back in March, and this is our 6th edition. And by, I think it was Thursday, we got 600 people registering for the event. We had to close. We were getting like 50 more attendees per hour. It went crazy. Then station half, which I really want to thank, they've been very accommodating, told us, listen guys, you have a problem with the security. So we had to cancel over 200 tickets. Really apologize for this. I hope that most people can watch the event live on Facebook and Periscope. So today we are the great pleasure to have 3 amazing juries. So it's going to be our first Crypto Monday. This is an ICO pitch, and Karim is going to explain how it's going to work. But in the meantime, we'd like to introduce the jury. So first Mr. we're going to hear is actually Lou Kerner, and I'm super happy to have finally Lou because he's the founder of Crypto Mondays worldwide. So we can all thank him. It's an amazing organization. I guess you're going to share some of the numbers of the community that you created. Then also real pleasure to get Willson from Shenzhen and London, actually. His real name is the Bitcoin ambassador, and he's going to tell you why. And last but not least, but I'm biased, my partner, Nicolas Cantu, who is the founder of Chain Accelerator, the blockchain accelerator based at Station F. Lou, can you speak for 5 minutes? I'm going to be very strict on the time, sorry.
Okay, sure. Look, I won't even take that much. This is Michael. First, thank you very much. When we started Crypto Monday in New York on January 8th, the idea was to start a decentralized community. And today we are in 30 countries, more than 9,000 Crypto Monday members, the largest crypto meetup in the world. And one of the questions I get asked the most is, well, why do people start Crypto Mondays in other cities? And so, like, why did these guys, start it? And so I talk about the token economics. For Michael is steps in that he's seen the crypto light, as I talk about. And he is a member of the community, and he wants to help the community. And the amazing thing is by helping the community and doing Crypto Mondays, the community helps Michael, and he gets status in the community, and people appreciate what he's doing. And in my mind, it's kind of a metaphor for a lot of what's going on today. I look forward to hearing from our fellow analysts, panelists, they're doing the same thing. Just about how this is more than just code, as you were saying. And so anyways, it's great to be here. Really looking forward to tonight. I can't believe how friggin' awesome Station F is. Oh my God, this is amazing. So thanks a lot, Michael.
Hi. Well, actually I know of Bitcoin starting from the end of 2013. In 2014, I started to bring my whole family to go for a world tour, which I named it the Bitcoin World Tour. And from Google or YouTube, you can find Bitcoin World Tour videos. So that was the time when people thought, it was just a scam. And when I go around the world shooting videos on the subject and evangelize to the world, and people find it hard to remember names, so they start to call me, why don't we call you Bitcoin Ambassador? I say, okay, fine, whatever, because everyone who evangelizes the technology can be an ambassador, no problem. So that's how the name sticks to me. And thereafter also, I was one of the crowdfunders for Ethereum and a host of other projects, and and then I started, I founded World Blockchain Foundation. And now I am advisor for a number of big projects, and I'm sharing my resources, my experience, my expertise to all the projects. And I'm also the co-founder of Blockchain Zoo, which is the one of the first and only, used to be, the Gartner-listed blockchain consultancy firm. And so I'm I'm honored to be here, invited here today, also as the mentor of Chain Accelerator, and to share my experience and my my views and my resources, most importantly, my resources together with the great guys here. So I look forward to see you more often, and I look forward to bring more value to the community here. Thank you.
Bien, bonjour. Je vais faire la petite partie française de ce soir. Je suis avec Nicolas, cofondateur de Chain Accelerator. C'est un réseau global d'accélération des startups blockchain. Dans quelques semaines, nous ferons l'annonce des autres sites ouverts et des protocoles aussi qui viennent accompagner les startups. J'ai le plaisir de vous annoncer ce soir l'ouverture pour le deuxième batch. Donc les candidatures se termineront le 14 septembre. Voilà. Pour l'intégration dans l'accélérateur. Et on recherche aussi des stagiaires pour nous accompagner sur tout le développement. Donc maintenant qu'on a pris vraiment une envergure internationale, voilà, pour nous aider à continuer à développer cet écosystème et ce réseau. Merci.
Thank you all. And now Karim is going to kick off the speech.
Hi everybody. So my name is Karim. I'm one of the co-organizers of CryptoMondays with Michael. So today is a little bit special. This is the 6th Crypto Monday, and it's the end of the summer, so we thought we'd try something a little more different. We'll do an ICO pitch, so a little less speaking time for our great guests and a little more for entrepreneurs in the field. We'll have 5 projects pitching in front of you guys and in front of our jury, and at the end of the night, we'll designate, well, the jury will deliberate and designate the winner for them, basically the one with the most realistic project and the one with the most impact. After that, we'll go to a bar. So sorry for all the people who couldn't get in. It was completely crazy. We had close to 1,000 attendees on the event, so we had to kick out a few of them. Some of them are waiting for us at the bar, so basically at the end of the night, just follow the movement and we'll have a great night. So the first project to start, SINIAMIN from Wesep.
Hi, my name is SINIAMIN. I'm the CEO of SINIAMIN Fédéral. Tonight I'm here with my project co-operator Gilles de Beaumarchais to introduce for all of you, in my perfect English, our project Wesep, which this starter. We aim for 4 objectives. We want to resolve 2 problematics for people who organize their funerals last will. We want to work in the real spirit of blockchain. We want to realize together an ICO in a win-to-win relationship. We want to make a stable coin. Let me now detail them. First objective, the resolution of 2 problematics. Gilles and I, we are 2 professionals in funerals company. We was confronted by several situations, and 2 of them come back regularly. The first one is about the respect of funerals last will, not just a solution to write them. In our project, we secure the writing through the blockchain, and this information is available to people who have been designed in the application of Wesep. No more intermediaries. At this stage, we have already developed an application with it already on the platform Android, and this week maybe in iOS. You could find it under the name of My Last Will. The second is about the possibilities to forward a fund to people after your death automatically, respecting the legal obligation of succession in each country, with the possibility to optimize the fiscal tax. For example, in France, if you give someone funds, there is 60% of fiscal tax. If we transfer funds with Wesep, the fiscal tax was about 40.2%. The beneficiary have 20% of fiscal tax in less. It's the fiscality of crypto-actifs who is determined. The second objective, you want work in the spirit of blockchain. No more intermediaries as notaire, lawyer, a total security and traceability in our private blockchain. A system of fund transfer in peer-to-peer, and to close this point, we are working actually on the new economic model to have free fees for all ICO tokens, wallet and transaction on it. The third objective, we want to realize together an ICO in a win-to-win relationship. For Wesep, we create 2 tokens, one for the ICO, the second for fund transfer, the Wesep coin. For the ICO, we create the WIA, it's a Wesep access. It's a hybrid token who have the quality of an utility and a security token who offer some right as the access to all reports, economic, financial, and audit. And I continue with my perfect English. And the fourth objective, we want to make a stable coin. The creation of the stable coin, the Wesep coin, for the success of this service. The stablecoin is primordial. With this, the subscriber and the beneficiary are securized in the value of the wallet. In conclusion, for realize this ambitious project, we need all of us. Thank you very much. And sometimes I say to my team that we have one life, but in this life we can have a lot of. So thank you very much.
I have a few questions from the jury. Who wants to start? Lee?
Excuse me, because my French is not very good. For the je ne comprends pas. So I just like to understand. So is it a will to be passed on, and that will, the wealth, yes, or the money, is in the form of tokens, fiat, or
yes, in a token, in a Wesep coin.
It's in the form of a coin.
Yes.
So if for example myself, yes, okay, so before I die, of course I write wills before I die. If I die, how can I write wills? So anyway, so before I die, and I decide that I have an amount of money which is to be passed on to my loved ones or next generation.
Yes.
Now what do I do? Do I now use what I have to buy the coins first?
Yes.
I need to buy the coins
You
first.
have to buy the coin and to create the wallet for the beneficiary. And after your death, automatically the wallet is developed to your friend or for the beneficiary.
Now, how does the blockchain knows that I'm dead? How does the blockchain knows that I'm dead?
The beneficiary says.
Okay, so
the beneficiary says that, and automatically you have the certificate of death that will be automatically.
So someone needs to verify that certificate and sign it?
Yes, to develop that. Of
now,
course.
who would be the person to do that?
You design this person.
That person in the parlance is the oracle, right? So you'll decide the oracle on where they'll go to decide who dies. You know, to decide when somebody died.
Yeah.
So we even interrupt your question.
You have to start. You have to know that. The system needs to know that. It's for that.
So I have to trust someone
But
to certify.
you agree to that before.
Exactly. Means I have to trust someone that decides that whether I live or I die.
Yeah.
Together with my beneficiary.
I understand what you say, but we just need to know when you die. Actually, the state don't give us this information. In America, you can have this information automatically, but not in France. So in France, if we need to know if you are dying, it's someone else. So I make the choice that the beneficiary, because the beneficiary knows he has a wallet with his name, and it's a beneficiary who say yes.
Can I say I have to make sure that my beneficiary doesn't fall in love with my
No, you don't have.
appointed person, right?
Yes, I should have been doing that.
How can anybody fall out of love with you? I just wanted to touch on the stable coin for a minute, why you would have your own stable coin and then how you're going to keep it stable.
That's my second question too. Parlez français?
Parlez French? Je parle français un peu.
Ah, you speak French too? Oh, that's good. And so you can ask me this question in French.
Not that good.
What's it?
I use my money.
Yes. The stablecoin. So we have a good question this morning with the ACPR in France. And the stablecoin, I wanted a bucket on the euro. It's for that. And we try to, when somebody has buy the Wesep coin, the fiat currency, we place this money in an account. And it's for that we are sure that we have the parity of the stablecoin and the
That
fiat.
makes it centralized, right?
What?
That makes it centralized.
Wait.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Ralph. So now we have Christophe Doré from MoneyTrack. Take it away.
Good evening, everyone. Who know what directed money is? Nobody? Two people here? Okay. Directed money is money with specific condition attached on it. And I'm sure here you already spent directed money. In instance, insurance compensation, consumer credit, gift card, coupon. This is example of directed money. And in each case, the financer of directed money asks you to provide a proof of transaction in sending him a receipt, a copy of the invoice, and so forth. But directed money serves key function that when your insurer asks you to send a receipt to give you an insurance compensation, there is a lack of trust between the insurer and its customer. MoneyTrack will transform totally directed money. MoneyTrack is a decentralized blockchain platform for directed money, and it digitizes the transaction, simplify claim processes, and instill trust between all the participants, which are financer, beneficiary, and merchant. We use a utility token to dematerialize the transaction. And this utility token is issued with the specific characteristic of directed money program, including, for example, the value, the name of the beneficiary, the merchant, approved and vetted, the expiry date, and so forth. The smart contract deliver the proof of transaction and show the proper use of the money. And the smart contracts also sets off the merchant refund. With MoneyTrack, the beneficiary don't have to advance cash and justify his purchase in this transaction. The merchants earn additional revenue, and for that, they will pay a commission fee to the financer. But this commission fee will be less than marketing costs they already paid to attract new customers on their website. And the financer simplifies processes, decrease operating costs, and avoid fraud and wastage in earning commission from the merchant, so it transforms a cost in a revenue. MoneyTrack is developed by a core team of French engineers in partnership and consortium with top French academic researchers from area who play a key role in the Tezos blockchain development. And we will be one of the very first applications of business in Tezos. using a formal verification of smart contracts, and zero knowledge proof to ensure confidentiality in all transactions. MoneyTrack protocol enable companies, banks, insurance, startups, individuals to launch their own business of directing money. So to conclude, we addressed a massive market. Directing money is there to grow for all the reasons I've given to you today. And we had an experienced team with a strong background in payment, blockchain, and software development. We champion a solid token economy where token value is totally aligned and correlates with transaction volume on the platform, thinking long-term intrinsic value than short-term price fluctuation. Thank you for your attention and your support. And if you want more information, you can follow us on Twitter, on Telegram channel, or directly on our website. Thank you, all of you.
So are you trying to build your own public chain?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're trying to build a public chain?
Yes.
Okay, so what this public chain do that the currently other public chains cannot do?
So the MoneyTrack blockchain is specific because we will use, the Tezos language smart contract, yes, and because we have to ensure that the confidentiality, the GDPR, the GDPR issue with Facebook. When you have a transaction in payment, you have to be sure that because it's decentralized, people could see all the transactions, but all the people are not allowed to see who are behind the transaction. Only you and me, for example. So what we do, and there's no blockchain will do that at the moment. So we will build it and use the Tezos smart contract language, open it, leave things we don't need, and additional with zero knowledge proof to ensure the confidentiality. Is that an answer to the question?
And because a public blockchain, would it be on what basis, what protocol? What's the protocol that you're building on? Would it be a proof of?
Okay. So at the very beginning, the blockchain will be centralized because we will launch the French application of directing money to instill, the money flow in the blockchain, and then we will decentralize progressively with our client, with merchant, with beneficiary rewards, and then you will see all the transaction with the confidentiality. But at the beginning, the blockchain is centralized, and then we decentralize it. So its own protocol with your own utility token. MoneyTrack.
Two questions. The first is I'm not familiar with the market. Who is it that you're disrupting? And the second, can you talk about the Tezos blockchain, why you decided to use it, and to the degree you've been interacting with them, what's that been like?
Okay, so who are we disrupting? I don't like this question because people could be in the audience, There is some issuer from direct money, issuer from gift card or couponing, and they are paper-based, so we disrupt this market. And we will not disrupt, but help. I think it's the better word. Help insurance and bank to make the business properly and to control the money. There are statistics say that up to 10% of your insurance policy pay fraud and wastage. So what we want to do is just use the blockchain because it's a blockchain use case when you don't have trust and several people, participants have to trust each other in transaction. And the second question was with Tezos. Why we chose Tezos? Because the researchers, we are working in consortium with INRIA, and INRIA, some of the researchers played a key role in Tezos development. So it makes sense, because now Tezos is launched. It makes sense to use Tezos as, the basics of our blockchain.
Thank you very much, Christophe. now Nicolas from ADMCS, right? Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Nicolas, and I'm glad to talk about something no sexy that we used to hide, and this is everywhere. Containers. Let me give you some figures. 140 million containers traveling around the globe every year. This is 3 times more than 20 years ago, and this is still rising. 90% of what humans consume travels within containers. Our iPhone, our chairs, has transported up to 3 times on a container. On each container is controlled 63 times during a trip. Eventually, that will be a $12 trillion market by 2020. Do I get your attention? 4 transportation modes are used. Massively maritime transportation, this big cargo with thousands of containers on top of it, waterways, barge on the river, railways, long train, on road, all this truck we see every day. All of this is interconnected. Problem is multimodal capacity. Congestion happens at the harbor because we have a lack of multimodal infrastructure to switch the container from cargo boats down to river boats, rail, road, or a mix of them. Problem is also that all the administration requires a ton of documentation. Guess what? All this documentation, this transaction is provided over mail and phone. How archaic. Blockchain is a solution. This is a massively worldwide mass market of hundreds of millions of units. On this is relying on paper, on the digital records, with a multiple of regulation authorities. This is a huge greenfield for blockchain. Why me? Because I'm the 3rd generation in a family who deploys container infrastructure in east regions of France. I have a degree in multimodal logistics, and I'm working over 18 years in logistic transport and in freight. The fact is there is a big lack of infrastructure multimodal. Cost for upgrading existing platform on logistic system is enormous, with regulation on orientation. On margin are so little enough that any optimization in cost or delays is critical. So in summary, we need to provide more multimodal capacity, and both of them, we need hardware and software. Blockchain was the solution because it's independent and open. Blockchain, for the past 4 years, I invested everything I had in the project, in the design of the solution. I wrote the specification for eco-terminals, green and efficient energy terminals, mining, offering additional capacity, and I will already immediately sell it immediately. And I wrote dedicated blockchain-based software for the transaction optimization to replace phone and mail by independent software. Blockchain technology has been selected. Blockchain developers have been identified through a partnership with Solid. And this we are launching our ICO. We are launching our ICO. Our token is a right to use the software worldwide on every single hardware related on services over a container terminals. Our pre-ICO has been opened from July at a preferential cost of 80 cents. And our ICO, we have 45 million tokens to issue the ICO introduction in the coming weeks at 1.50 euros a token. With my partner, who I can list Solid, Francis Lefebvre-Ayoka, KPMG, Mazar, Eden Energy, Decapol, we rely on you to allow this innovation to happen. Thanks a lot for your time and listening.
We'd like to limit the questions to one, so if you could.
Okay, are you building a blockchain or are you building a DApp?
Hi, my name is Arnaud. I'm working with Nicolas. Today we are working, building the blockchain by itself. We are using blockchain technology, that is Talent, but we are developing all the transaction and the protocol on this blockchain.
Which protocol are you?
Tangle. Tangle is the blockchain used on this one because he has a favor of state ministries on this one.
So are you working on the documentation side or on the IoT side?
On the documentation side, of course, the IoT side as well, because it's completely new. Today, on these transactions, it belongs, we are treating with insurances, Incoterms, logistic, custom, and so on. And nobody is using other things than mail, not email, mail, and phone. So we are digitalizing the records, and we make that happen very fast.
Are you aware of any other projects that are working on this area?
There are several attempts for that. Right now, we know that traditional software has been tried on this one, but the problem is that it's developed by Microsoft, IBM, and so on, and we all know that it cannot happen within the end of one actor on this one. It must be independent and open to everybody. So this is why blockchain is definitely the right solution for that, because it is open to every single actor. Merckx, Epner, CGM are in favor of that because they already trust will bring 20% of cost optimization on this matter. It will increase the productivity of the teams because they will have less stress and they will be able to do something else than phone and mail.
Thank you very much. Now we have Pierre-Yves for Ledgity.
Good evening. My name is Pierre-Yves Dittlot. I'm the founder and CEO of Ledgity. Maybe have you already thought about investing in a private equity? It can be an attractive investment if we look at all the success stories that everyone knows. But for many of you, the liquidity, as a matter of fact, the lack of liquidity could be a problem. And this was the case for me, and made me think about how to solve this issue. And how you can imagine, the answer is distributed ledger technology. And it has been almost 2 years since I realized that blockchain technology brings a number of improvements that will change our financial system over the next few decades. It will create tremendous value, for sure, to our economy. Simply because the technology itself takes care about the entire transaction process, from authentication and identification of counterparties to the clearing and settlement of trades. So, powered by the blockchain technology and smart contracts, today we are technically able to convert a right of an asset into a digital token on the blockchain. And this process is called the tokenization. So the blockchain is driving the formation of the Internet of Value. And it's a real game changer. Imagine a world where you can own and trade assets, I mean real assets, as easily as you store and share pictures with your smartphone. So trading securities and tokenizing assets is emerging as a perfect application of the blockchain technology and probably a gateway for a wider adoption. And because you have private equity, units of investment fund, private debt, real estate, arts, patents, almost all assets are better denominated in tokens than other form of ownership. And because the tokens is programmable by design, you can dramatically improve the automation of legal, compliance, and corporate governance. And at Ledgity, we are working on these exciting topics. Ledgity is embracing this revolution by creating an ecosystem dedicated to security token. So from their issuance to the exchange peer-to-peer through an easy-to-use mobile application. So Ledgity platform empowers businesses and individuals to freely and smoothly interact to bridge the gap between on-chain and off-chain world. Within Ledgity ecosystem, 3 entities interact in harmony: issuer, user or investors, and professional financial advisor, and create value for each other. So bringing liquidity to unlisted assets is a massive opportunity for investors who seek diversification and for entrepreneurs who need capital to finance their growth. The Ledgity founding team is comprised of people with a plenitude of skills and experience, from financial market and banking to blockchain technical skills. And together we work to accomplish one objective: to reshape our legacy financial system to make it more efficient. Currently we are running our seed round. The seed round will be followed by a pre-sale and an ICO later. We are based in Lausanne, Switzerland. We developed a prototype, and a demo version of the mobile application will be released at the end of October. So thank you very much, and I'm happy to answer the question.
Congratulations, I think you just invented blockchain. What I want to know is, what is that your chain can do that Ethereum can't, that Ardor can't, that Komodo can't, that any M can't?
We are not creating a blockchain.
No,
we are using Ethereum blockchain.
You're using Ethereum blockchain to create?
Because to build the ecosystem and create a app, an application of Ethereum blockchain.
What is the product, the feature?
The feature, it's an exchange dedicated to security token.
It's an exchange?
Yeah.
An exchange? It is a decentralized exchange?
So it's a good question. You have a lot of discussion about centralized, decentralized exchange. We think that maybe currently the answer is in the middle, so an hybrid exchange where the settlement remains decentralized, but the price formation, the order book, is centralized off-chain. The first protocol that worked on that was 0x protocol.
Oh,
0x.
And how are you thinking about bringing liquidity to the platform?
Yeah, it's a good question. So everything have to be built in order to bring liquidity. The easiest way is to create interoperability between different security token exchange. But because it's a real asset, you have also other constraints like KYC, anti-money laundering, and so on. So you have to establish standards in the sky of KYC and AML and create a partnership with other exchanges in order to create interoperability and to increase, for sure, the liquidity.
Thanks.
Now, Julien for Livingway. Please come with us.
Hi everyone, my name is Jules Trasleglise, I'm 26 years old, and I'm the founder of Livingway. So I was a tennis player and I was very limited by money. I was trying to become a pro, but not enough money. And then I decided to create a social network with its own currency. But again, I was
limited by money. So I decided to focus on money and how economy works. And when you study economy, you realize the whole system is wrong. Like, banks are killing the economy. I don't have really time to explain you how, but they are killing the economy. So we need a yeah, with the loans and the interest rates and not enough supply into the real economy. We'll explain later. Okay, so we need to create a new system, a new money system that works for the economy and for people. So Livingway, I will introduce Livingway. Livingway is a stable cryptocurrency with its own payment solution for businesses and individuals. Livingway is developed in-app in a closed ecosystem, which will allow more security, more scalability, more transaction instant, and fee-less transactions. So the technology, you understand, is centralized, but the company owning the technology will be decentralized. So how does it work? It's very simple. 1 leaf equals $1. So it makes it very easy for mass adoption for people who don't know anything about crypto. You simply bank transfer fiat currencies to your bank to your Livingway app, and then you see your balance into fiat and leaf. And from there, you're ready to go. You have to pay or be paid. You have a QR code, and this QR code you can scan QR codes or get your QR code scanned, or you can save QR codes in order to pay from distance. And the business model is really simple. For individuals, it's totally free. And for businesses, we charge a 1% commission on payments received, which means that it's much lower than credit card fees. About the consumer acquisition and incentives, Livingway will share its profits with its users. So we have our users will be our biggest sales force. So every time they're going to be able, individuals and businesses will be able to affiliate their clients and their relationship. And whenever these affiliates will pay into businesses, these people will get commissions. So everyone can create new revenue streams, and businesses pay less fees on payments. So it's a whole ecosystem better for everyone, and Livingway profits from it because it helps us reach mass adoption very quickly. About the business model, last thing is that in the future, businesses will be able to do geolocated marketing because they will have their own e-boutique on the platform, so they will be able to geolocate marketing around their position to the users, meaning that the profits of the revenues of the marketing will be distributed as well with the users. About PR, I pitched in New York on a TV show in New York in May, so it will air in about 3 to 4 months, giving great visibility to the project. About the competition, and also I've done a Start Engine campaign, so the project is very detailed, online and SEC compliant. And about competition, about fully decentralized solution, the difference here is that with Livingway, you have a third party you can rely on in case of issues. You have a third party here to set up the rules of the economy. Livingway is going to be able to issue loans which decentralized solutions cannot offer. And the loans will be issued and decided by the community when to create money, and the loans also will be without interest rates. So about the ICO, we are raising funds for the pre-ICO. The total amount of the round is $2 million, but with 450K, I'm able to deliver the product, build the community, and convince the rest of investors for the $2 million round. The ICO token will be representing the equity of the company, so 100% of the equity will be tokenized. So we'll sell tokens as we need funding. And the second token is obviously the currency token, the LIV, which will be the payment solution. Livingway's vision is to create a new economy, a new fair system that serves people and society. Livingway, together, live better.
To me first as a business model more than a blockchain model seems to me first. Can you explain what can you do that any other blockchain teams cannot do? I haven't heard any about that, because all I heard is the business model. And yes. So
what we can do that other businesses, other cryptocurrencies can do is that we can offer fee-less transactions first. that decentralized cryptocurrencies, you have to pay fees on payments and stuff. You have to go on exchanges and then the exchanges charge fees, right? Here, it's all in-app, in a closed ecosystem, so you just bank transfer to the app. You don't need to go on exchanges. So there is a payment solution for businesses which can accept crypto, and again, they don't pay fees. They pay only 1% fee to Livingway for accepting, for creating the whole ecosystem, and then they can cash out very easily in-app. They just click a button, and we bank transfer them fiat currency back to their bank account. So it's making everything easier. No other system actually does that.
How do you want to engage the communities to use it? And did you have some use case very significant? What's a use case that you want for engage the communities?
Okay, so to prove that it works, you mean?
No, pour les engager. Pour comment gagner le market. Sur quoi vous allez aller, sur quelle communauté?
But it's so the project concerns everybody because it's a payment solution. So anyone who needs to pay anywhere, they need Livingway. So the thing to engage people, I talked about the customer incentives. The incentives we provide to the community. We share profits with users who bring new users. So the community have incentives because they pay less fees than having a bank account, and they make money when the users they bring pay someone. So there's a great incentive for the community to spread.
Yes, they have an incentive when they are in the system, but before. How they come?
They come thanks to the users, the first early users, that we create the community with the marketing of the ICO and the pre-ICO and branding, all that we create with the PR agency, and that starts with a following, and this following.
You think that the investors are the users?
No. So we will first, how do you say? We will, how do you say? We'll get to businesses, okay, and talk to businesses. Say you can accept these payment solutions, and these businesses will be able to affiliate their clients. So businesses are actually going to work as a sales force for us because they have more interest in accepting leave because they will pay less fees. So we first focus on getting more businesses into Livingway, partnering with Livingway, and these businesses will bring new users, and it's a virtuous cycle.
Thank you. And now, last but not least, bear with us. This is the last speech before we go drinking. Luc from Arianee. Take it away.
Alright, I'll try to be really short because I know you all are dreaming about that next beer or wine you're going to have next. So Arianee really started a year and a half ago with one observation, which was that with IoT, more and more objects are connected, which allows us to collect data, share it, and of course then leverage it for additional services. Unfortunately, a lot of our most valuable products are not connected and probably won't be for a long time. So Arianee's mission is to create a digital identity for every valuable object in the world. To do this, when we talk about valuable objects, we talk about, of course, luxury items like your watch, your handbag, but also fine art. We can also talk about musical instruments or even wines and spirits, especially the good bottles that you keep in your cellar. So what we do, of course, create a digital identity. We use something that's been already mentioned here. We create a non-fungible token on our blockchain to create a unique ID for each item. So the way it works for the user, yes, the product, the Arianee is backed by blockchain, but for the user, it's really just an app. On the app, you have all your different products, and it allows you really to check three different things. First, whether the product is authentic, because we work with brands who are the ones emitting those non-fungible tokens. So you know that when this non-fungible token, this unique ID, has been emitted, it has been emitted by the original brand. So the product is authentic. Second, because this non-fungible token is transferable from one owner to the other, it proves ownership. And lastly, the third thing that you can do is record events on those non-fungible tokens. So it gives you a history of whether your product was serviced or what happened to the product. It's kind of like a passport for your product. Now for the brands on the other side, what's really interesting for them, because this token is transferred from one owner to another, from their wallet, from wallet to wallet, they can communicate directly with the current owner of a product. It's a 100% hit rate, and that's really, when we discuss with brands, that's really what they're interested in, is being able to talk with the current owner of the product. It's an anonymous solution, but still, that 100% hit rate is extremely interesting for them. Now, of course, once you've built this registry of all those products, there is an entire ecosystem that can be built on top of all those products. You can imagine a bunch of applications like partial ownership that can be built on top of this application. You can think about insurance companies, just like that can give a quote in one click. We're already talking with insurance companies, are quite interested in that application. And of course, a bunch of other things that we haven't thought. So definitely an entire third-party ecosystem that can be extremely interesting. All right, so now this vision, I think you've probably all heard this vision before. I think it's a solution that makes sense. And there are, of course, some competitive projects that work on a similar solution. Now the question is, how is Arianee actually going to build it? So first, let's look at our go-to-market strategy. Our first market is the personal luxury good. So as I was talking about the watches and handbags, and we really targeted this market for three reasons. The first reason is that those users are really used to having to ask for the certificate of authenticity for the product, so they're used to ask this proof that it is a real product. So you're already building on a habit. The second thing is that there are low regulations. There are plenty of applications where NFTs are really interesting. Unfortunately, regulations make things quite complicated for a blockchain. And the third thing is that, of course, it's a $200 billion market, 100 million products per year, but it's actually a lot of brands, well-known brands, but it's actually a quite concentrated market. Almost 40% of the market share is controlled by 5 large groups. And the good news is that over the last year, we've managed to convince 3 brands to develop pilot projects, and we're already talking with 2 other top 5 groups. Now, you also need a great team, and here we've managed to assemble an amazing team with people, with former co-founders of Vestiaire Collective, Teeds, Overblog, so people with really deep entrepreneurial expertise. And on the other hand, we have people from the luxury industry that really understand how customers in the luxury industry work, with people, former executives from Tiffany's and Omega. Now, the team alone is not sufficient. You also need to have good advisors. And here on the industry side, we've managed to get advisors from some of the biggest brands. So we have advisors from ONC, advisors from Vacheron Constantin, advisors from Balenciaga, and also from Accelerator and Christie. So really people that know the industry and are still in the industry that can help us build this thing. Then on the technology side, we've also managed to attract some really good people on the technology side. On the blockchain side, we have the lead author of the ERC 721 token, and we're the lead developer of Stratis that are helping us on the blockchain side. And then on the more traditional enterprise software, also some great people that are helping us integrate this solution within the existing solution or the software of the companies. So I would be remiss if I didn't talk about our ICO. We raised a 1 million seed fund late last year to really help us build the first prototype, contact the first brands, and then build the first part of the mainnet. We just closed we're closing a $3 million round, and which was only for funds, mainly crypto funds, but a few classical funds also participated. And in October we'll be opening round 1, which will be a public pre-sale that will be open to the wide public. That's it for me. There's one last thing that I know my head of communication has asked me to say. I know we're all a lot into digital, but we've actually done something really unusual for blockchain. We've printed a few white papers. If you want a nice printed copy of the white paper, let us know.
Say that we built on the ERC 721.
well, we're using the ERC 721 standard, of course. Now we're building on actually a different blockchain. Right now we're building on top of POA network, which is a proof of authority network, because we want 5 seconds. I mean,
the most important question is how do you link the physical product to that token?
That's a question that we always ask, and here there is no perfect solution.
There is.
No, there is. Oh, good. I'm interested. Let me know.
That's why I asked.
We've looked in actually a lot of things, but every time all those solutions always end up the same way as the hologram, which 10 years ago was supposed to be the thing that's going to solve counterfeiting.
You use IoT chips.
No, but chips are the same thing. Right now, there is actually a well-known French brand who puts RFID chips inside their bags. There are counterfeiters buy the bag, bring them back home, take the chip out, put in a really nice fake bag, bring it back to the store, get reimbursed because the teller doesn't really know anything. He just scans the thing and says, "Oh, it's a real bag." Here, counterfeiting with an IoT chip in it.
But then that would become fake. That would make the real one become fake.
Exactly. But that's why do you need an IoT? Why do you need an IoT chip if we can actually do that on the blockchain with a so yeah, of course. What we do is that we limit the potentiality of counterfeiting at scale. That's really what we do. But ultimately, any physical solution has a really similar issue to creating on the blockchain. And at least blockchain unleashes a bunch of other solutions that are quite interesting.
Okay, I'm so sorry because I have to go first, because if I don't, I'll probably have to sleep on the streets of Paris tonight. I need to go back to London. So thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Luke. That was the last pitch. Now we'll just let the jury deliberate and designate the project they consider the most solid, with the one with the most impact, the most useful, and the one that uses blockchain the most in the most intelligent way, right? So we'll give you I don't know, 2-3 minutes. Have you reached a consensus or no? Okay, you guys go hide. In the meantime, so this was the last speech. We are now going to a bar called EP7. It's 3 to 5 minutes walk from here. We've sent an email at 7:45, so you all have the map, the name of the bar, and the address. We'll just wait for Lou and Nicolas to give us the result, and then we'll start walking to the bar. So if you get lost, you can check your emails, or you can try to find me, and we'll put some people on the way to guide you over there. Thank you very much. All right, everybody, thank you very much for waiting. We'll get to a bar in a second. Before that, the jury has actually not reached a consensus, and they have decided on 2 winners or 2 projects that caught their eye. So I'll just give them the mic, and Nicolas, do you want to start? All right, so basically they have not reached a consensus, and basically they have two projects that they loved. So for Nicolas, it was the first one, Wesep, right? The first project. So Ralph, where are you, Ralph? Did you leave? He won, Ralph. and Lou had another project that he liked, and I think it was Arianee, right? Yeah, so Arianee, congratulations as well. Maybe just look at the I have to give you a paper version because I know you really want All right, thank you very much, everybody. We now go to the bar. Bye-bye.
On va aller au bar maintenant, qui est juste derrière. Donc je vous recommande de suivre la foule. Donc ça va être à gauche et derrière Station F. Merci à tous d'être venus, à tout de suite.
Et pour les équipes, les startups qui ont pitché, je vous prie de bien vouloir venir pour la photo officielle avec le jury. Toutes les équipes, Arianee, Ledgity, venez, la photo officielle avec le jury. Nos 6 startups, s'il vous plaît, les équipes, les speakers, le jury. Toutes les équipes, du développeur au stagiaire, on veut tout le monde.
C'est bon? Oui. Guys, we're now moving to the bar. Tout le monde, au bar, c'est parti.
Thank you very much for tonight and see you for next CryptoMondays Paris.
You know where the bar is?